Our journey starts in Düsseldorf. There, we roll on the motorrail train. The train will take us overnight across the Alps to Bolzano. In the evening, we drive through the Rhine Valley past the Lorelei. And as we wake up in the next morning, we're already in Italy. Well rested, we start for our onward journey. From here, it's about 500 kilometers to the southern Tuscany, and our aim, Monte Amiata. We're now in an area midway between Florence and Rome. Just after we've passed Siena, we're already driving through a landscape just like we've imagined the Tuscany. We're driving on avenues of cypress. We smell juniper, we see wine and olive, and blooming poppies and clover. In the beautiful village of Montalcino, we take a lunch break. In a small restaurant, we order pizza. And with the food, we get handed out quite unusual cutlery. We're told that the people here are used to eating their pizza with scissors. We don't know if this is meant seriously or whether we go into the trap of a gag. But the pizza tasted either way. After the tasty break, we continue our journey southwards. After a few kilometers, we finally reach our hotel. Le Macchinae, in 1,400 meters on the slope of the extinct volcano Monte Amiata. With 1,700 meters, the mountain is the highest peak in this region. These two guys here are our hosts. With their cheerful nature and stir-up stories, Enrico and Francesco quicken our appetite for the next few days. And when we set off in the dark marsh, we already have an idea of what lies ahead. We are now driving through the largest beech forest in Italy, covering the slopes of Monte Amiata. We smell the spicy forest soil, we see the sunlight dance in the leaves, and we absorb the soothing green tones with relish. As we head down to the valley, the vegetation changed. Some funny bends below, we find ourselves between chestnut trees. Left and right of the road, we are registering people who roam ducked through the undergrowth. They collect cecchio or bastarda rossa, as the typical chestnut varieties of these regions are called. And down in the valley, we finally find typical stunted olive trees. To be honest, when we first saw Enrico and his big gold wing, we thought, how is he going to move that thing? But it didn't take very long for us to get astonished. Because once in move, Enrico and his gold wing shoot off like greased lightning. For our travel report for a motorbike magazine, we have to make lots of photo stops. And every time, my models have to twist and turn over and over again so I can take my photos. What is a grueling challenge for many is Enrico's easiest exercise. He's able to turn his heavy weight in an instant, no matter how narrow the streets are. We soon notice that Enrico knows this area inside out. With this insider as our tour guide, we explore tiny streets we wouldn't ever have seen if we were here alone. We drive through a sea of blooming gorse, and we enjoy the ride on lonely secondary roads. It doesn't matter where we go. All around, medieval towns are enthroned on the hills like terracotta-colored blobs. No wonder we start for a real city-hopping trip.
Cold hands and sore feet. You've been walking for an hour on abandoned streets.
We soon reach Sorano, a pretty little town that was once an Etruscan settlement. Because the fort was built of volcanic tuff, it almost looks like smashed into the natural rock. It lies among ancient Etruscan necropolis, with many hidden grave chambers. After a few kilometers, we reach Pitigliano. Enrico tells us stories like a waterfall. We learn from him what makes this city so special. It's the medieval aqueduct. The sophisticated water system of the Etruscans was built long before our era, just as the narrow alleys, caves and Etruscan tombs. He has so many historical anecdotes in stock. We soon get a feeling like Enrico is a walking history book. When we drive towards Saturnia, we discover a valley where we can see white terrace basins. With pleasure, people are bathing in the sulphurous water that's almost 38 degrees warm. Enrico even tells us that sometimes he goes there with his friends, with bread, wine, sausage and cheese in the bag. These guys really know how to enjoy.
Come back up. This is one possibility. Second possibility is to go to the coast. Also that is a beautiful road. We turn around Argentario Promontory. Is a mountain on the coast, and from where it's possible to see all the Tuscany Island. It's really beautiful, and we come back. Or if you want, we go north.
Enrico would like to show us around in all the southern Tuscany. When he speaks about our stations, like Roccalbegna, Petigliano or Radicofani, he rolls the R with relish, and we only have to listen to him to get hungry. It's not difficult to decide. We want to go on a culinary tour.
You're breaking, but you're faking. Nothing's ever wrong. And concealing what you're feeling, always standing strong. But you don't need to act like you don't bleed when you come falling down. There's no healing when you're not feeling anything at all. Light a fire, drown the spark, shake away heat.
We visit the Pasticceria Flamini in Semproniano. Fabiano and Mareike bake with traditional recipes and with chestnut flour. For many decades, the chestnut was the staple food in the southern Tuscany. And after the war, our hotel was still a chestnut mill. We enjoy to sniff chestnut cakes, breads, crackers, and sugar-sweet biscuits. By the time, we almost have the feeling like being in a Christmas bakery. We taste cakes made with candied fruits, coriander, nutmeg, cloves, and cinnamon. Next stop is the Cheese Diary Fiorino in Roccalbegna. Chef Simone tells us about Pecorino and Mazzolino, the typical cheeses made from sheep milk. And we even may take a look into the hallowed halls, down in the ripening rooms where countless cheeses slumber. Although the facility is very modern, the handcraft has a long tradition. Simone has joined forces with the sheep and cow farmers on the slopes of Monte Amiata. Their motto is to use only a few, while natural ingredients. We sniff at young cheese and old cheese, with or without truffles. As a conclusion, we can finally take a taste, of course not without a sip of wine. Visit this day is at the winery Villa Patrizia. Here you can see Romeo Bruni, a close friend of Enrico and a real wine luminary. Actually, Romeo is a carpenter with a passion for wine. In the 1960s, he has founded the winery. Nowadays, he produces more than 56,000 bottles of wine and small amounts of olive oil as well. He doesn't use any chemistry. Instead, he works with great sensitivity. One trick, for example, is to plant rose bushes at the end of wine rows. When pests or disease occur, you can first see the roses ailing, and that gives the winemaker the chance to intervene quickly. Our tasting is like a ritual. While Romeo talks out of school, we sniff and swirl so long that we are almost tipsy. On the slope of Monte Amiata, each day begins with fog. Every morning, the summit is covered with thick fog. The journey through the fog is no problem, as long as we have Enrico's Goldwing before us. Because with its festive lights in sight, we cannot go astray.
So praise the sunrise, the more we try to run, the more.
Down in the valley, we finally sniff the scent of olive groves, pistachio, wild juniper and sage. An appetizing prelude to a new round of village hopping.
Let's do it over. Let's do it over. Won't you come to me? Let's do it over. The full moon, the more we realize that is now the more we understand.
Today we head to the southeast. Even from far away, we discover the skyline of Orvieto on a rocky plateau. On the right side we can see the jewel of the city, the cathedral from the 13th century. As we get closer, we can't get enough of the countless reliefs, mosaics and sculptures. Enrico tells us that the city was built on a rocky labyrinth of cellars, corridors, Etruscan ditches and cisterns.
It's over. Let's do it over. Won't you come to me? Let's do it over.
In the southern Tuscany, there are more historical buildings than in any other region of Italy. There are necropolis, Roman villas, and medieval castles to discover. A special highlight on our trip is the visit of the Civita di Bannoregio, which lies majestically on a hill. We scramble up the narrow bridge in the background and learn that there is a very special tradition, a donkey race, which takes place in late summer of every year. In our books we later read that it's an ancient tradition for the election of the mayor, and winner is the one, well, who stays up. Later that day, we visit the sausage making of family Bonelli. The historic business is located in Castel del Piano, only a few minutes from our hotel. We meet Samuel, the boss. He tells us much about the old methods of salting and peppering. Our walk through the halls, in which parts of pork are hanging, is not for the faint-hearted. But we're glad to hear that the Bonellis are processing a pig race that's been breeded here since the 13th century. The animals live outdoors, they find their food out in the forests, acorn, fungi and roots. We also meet this little one. This baby dog is so sweet, I'd love to take it with me. The next day we go on a trip without our tour guide. We treat ourselves with a spa trip. Here we see the Balena Bianca, the white whale, an 8-meter-high limestone cascade caused by the deposits of sulfur springs. Monte Amiata didn't break out for more than 180,000 years, but still, hot springs and geothermal power plants attest to the volcanic activity that lies sleeping beneath the mountain. In the bassins, there's volcanic warmed water with about 50 degrees. Minerals are the reason for the milky color of the water. The spa was already known to the Romans as a healing source for rheumatism, allergies and skin problems. And of course, we also take a long bath in the natural mud. We have already noticed one thing. The Tuscany is an ideal destination for gourmets. Every evening the hotel kitchen spoils us with several courses of regional delicacy. We enjoy olive oil, sausage, mushrooms, honey truffles, chestnuts, bread and homemade pasta. And every night Chef Maurizio serves us a different wine from the region. And so every day we drag ourselves to bed, really tired and with big bellies. The next morning, we go on an exploring tour in the neighborhood. Next door is a vacant restaurant. It's a relic of these days when the winters at Monte Amiata were still hard. It was a time when the snow sports and the winter tourism prospered. But times have changed. Today, there are no more snow masses, many guest houses are empty, and most restaurant owners develop new business concepts. Le Maquinai, for example, focuses on summer tourism, particularly on motorcyclists. Afterwards, we go for a walk. The forest has enchanted us